this lesson will be short. It's just about converting a radical. A radical is just a root, like the square root of x, or the cube root of b, or the fourth root of x to the fifth, or something like that. It's converting a radical to rational exponents. Rational just means fraction, so this will be like an exponent that is a fraction, like this maybe, x to the 1/2 power, something like that. Okay, so you'll notice that the square root of x doesn't have any numbers in the corner of this radical or right here. That's because they're invisible. This is an invisible 2 and this is an invisible 1. So here's the rule. What you do is you rewrite the base, and then this number goes on the top of the fraction and this number goes on the bottom of the fraction. Now when I started doing algebra, this is all I would remember about this topic. I would remember that x to the 1/2 was the square root of x, and I could do any of these if I just went back to this example every time in my head, like the cube root of b. I would just remember this, and I would say this number went on the top and this number out here went on the bottom. So I'd come over here and I'd say, I'll put my b down here. This number goes on the top, this number goes on the bottom. Over here, the 5 goes on the top, the 4 goes on the bottom. So converting these back and forth is pretty simple. So if you want to convert the other way, you have to make a radical, put your y in here, and then you would say which number went here. That's the number that was on the bottom, so my 3 will go here, and the number that goes up here is the power on the y is the 2. Same here, except now I have a negative exponent. So the first thing I need to do is remember something about these negative exponents. They're not negative numbers. Negative exponents make fractions. So I'm going to make myself a fraction, move this x to the 1/5 to the bottom, and have a positive exponent, and there's a 1 up here. So that was in the last lesson. If you don't remember that, go back and watch the last lesson on exponent rules. So first thing I need to do is make this a positive exponent, and now I can make this a radical. So this would be 1 over the 5th root of x, because the 5 from the denominator goes in the corner and the 1 goes on the power on x, so we'll just leave that invisible. Nobody ever writes x to the first power. So over here, there's two ways you can do this. You can think of this whole shell as the root and then write this on the inside, or you can do power to a power exponent rules. So this would be a to the 2/3, and now I can convert it this way with the same kind of method as over here, cube root on the outside because the 3's in the denominator, and a squared on the inside. You see, I would have gotten the same thing if I would have did what I said first, which is treat this shell as the root. So this is a 3rd root. That's what these parentheses are for, and then put this a squared on the inside. So those are two ways to do that. This lesson's pretty short.